Does spending an extra £15 on a bottle of rum, does that make a better rum and coke? That's what I want to chat about and get you thinking about in today's video. Now, even though I'm a neat rum drinker, I love neat rum, I have got nothing against the humble rum and cola. It's just a fantastic long drink. I grew up on it, I still drink it, but does the rum really matter? And I've kind of touched on this in a recent daiquiri video, but I want to break this down to the rum and cola drinkers. Now, in my community, I'm talking about Discord here and you guys in the YouTube comments. I know plenty of you that won't think twice about spending like upwards of £30 on a bottle of rum. And we're talking stuff like this. We're talking like Plantation 5-year-old, the Barbados one. We're talking maybe Appleton 8 is another big favourite. What else we got? Chairman's Legacy is now cropping up, but also stuff like Bacardi 8-year-old. We know full well that those of you that sort of go up to these rums, we know full well that we think they make a better rum and coke. And heck, I know there's even a core community of you that kind of will quite happily drink Plantation XO with cola, and maybe even the Appleton 12. Because you appreciate the rum, in your head they do make better rum and cokes. But I also do know and do appreciate that there's a core community as well that really do, they're quite happy spending 20, 19, 20, 22 pounds, the same in dollars these days, on a rum, for a rum and cola. These rums are created for a reason. They are the biggest selling rums in the world for a reason. A, because of price. B, because they're pretty decent in a rum and coke. Let's be honest. Now, it doesn't matter how much your normal rum is. The point I want to make, the point I want to get you thinking about is does spending more make a better drink? Does it make it a more enjoyable drink? Now, before we go any further, let's address the elephant in the room, because I know this little thing right here will already be causing some controversy. But for those long-term followers of mine, you will have seen that I've done the cola test many times on this, and I was staunch Coke and then Coke Zero. Because I got older, I couldn't handle the fizz and the sugar too much. I was a staunch Coke fan. I swore blind that I was Coke Zero and cola. They just made the best rum and cokes, until that final video that I did probably mid 2022 now, where I did blind tasting and did a load of rums, and the Diet Pepsi just smashed it for me over and over again. I was so shocked when I kept seeing that because it was blind tasting, I was so shocked to see my results on every little category that I've just stuck with it ever since. And you know what? For me, it makes a fantastic rum and cola. But the cola nicely ties in the first part about what I want to get you thinking about, is because until you've done a blind tasting, it's only an opinion. You might think that you already have the best cola or the best rum and cola, but when you go down the whole blind tasting rabbit hole and pit rums and colas against each other, then you start to find out that you really do enjoy something else. Now, whether or not more expensive rum makes a better rum and cola, well, of course, that is totally subjective. Again, there are some camps that will write that off as complete and utter nonsense, and there'll be some camps that actually believe every single word that I say. But the truth is, I don't really listen to any of those opinions until I know for sure that someone has done the blind tasting, because, as I say, until you do the blind tasting, it's only an opinion. You could swear blind that you prefer something, but unless you've tried it, unless you've done it in a blind tasting, you'll never know. Now, if you go off and do this experiment for yourself, there will be some sort of marginal decisions that you have to make, because I know full well there are going to be some rums, if you spend a bit more, whether it's £10, whether it's £15, whether it's £8, whether you spend more in that rum, it does taste better, but in your head, is it £10 better a bottle? Is it worth spending that extra 10, that extra £15 a bottle on that rum and coke when it's only marginally better? But then to go completely the other way, I know full well that if you do the experiment, you're going to find rums that are 10, £15 more expensive that just absolutely blow you away, and you'll never go back to those £20 rums again. And while I'm here, I've mentioned it a couple of times, let me just talk about my Discord community just quickly. It's free to come in. There'll be a link in the description below. Just click the link to my homepage and my splash page, and you will find the link to Discord. It's totally free. There is an exclusive membership area if you're a member of my channel as well. We have lots more threads in that, but the outer part of Discord is totally free, and you can come and connect with hundreds of other rum fans that chat about rum daily, loads of questions. So come and join us in Discord. And just a shout out for my 2 other YouTube channels as well. This is the main channel that has been going on for years, but I have also launched Steve the Barman Extra that focuses on my live show, the spiced rums and cocktails. And then I've got Steve the Barman Rum Reviews, where I kind of every Monday I dissect a UK, a British scratch rum, and then every Thursday I do a rum from the rest of the world, just sitting in the bar chatting about those rums. I just want to take a very quick moment of your time to thank this week's show sponsors. It's Stratford Soda. It's a long-term ongoing paid promotion because I just love these guys so much. Low in carbonation, low in sugar, the only dedicated mixer brand in the UK for rum. If you want to try these, if you're in the UK for the very first time, we're giving you 50% off your very first order. There's a link that will auto-populate in the description below, auto-populate at checkout. So don't get all confused. It's when you check out, you'll see it magically kind of give you a cheaper price. 4 in the range at this precise moment. The citrus, which is what I call the long daiquiri. We've got the tropical, which I call the long pina colada, pineapple and coconut, without the sort of the creaminess. We've got the spiced, not to be confused with ginger beer, or cinnamon forward with a hint of ginger, absolutely delicious. And we've got the hedgerow, which is blackberry and rum. I strongly urge every single pub, bar, hotel, restaurant up and down the UK to get involved in these and get these in your bottle chillers, because for the upcoming rum boom, the upcoming rum trend, these are going to play an integral part. And I just want to do my bit to take them like UK. Let's take them global because they are fantastic. I love them. Now, as you've seen, long-term followers, we've seen I've done these experiments many, many times on this channel. But I always have to revisit. Now, these are some of the marginals that I'm talking about, because roughly, it depends on the supermarket deal in the UK. Sometimes £16, £18, maybe £20, maybe at the top end. You know, Havana 7-year-old, the step up in quality. That's, you know, subjective again. I personally don't think it is, and that's what I'm going to come on to. You know, sometimes £22, £24, £25. I'm not a fan of this rum. So for me, actually side by side, I'm always going to pick, if that's my choice, I'm actually always going to pick Havana Especial for the rum and cola. Not only that, it is the rum they kind of market as their rum and cola rum. It is that rum in their brand. However, the point I want to make, so, you know, upgrading to Havana 7-year-old for me, for a rum and cola, is absolute nonsense. I would never do it. But the caveat is, if I went and had the money and spent, this is circa £50 in the UK, do you know what? I would quite happily drink that as a rum and cola and buy that every single time, because for me, that is infinitely better than what that is as a rum and cola. It is a delicious, delicious drink. So sometimes, you know, the next upgrade doesn't actually warrant the price jump, but sometimes the next one up after that really does. Now we can move on to another household favourite brand, Appleton Signature, available in most supermarkets, in most sort of shops up and down the UK. It is a big favourite. Again, loosely low 20s, £22 in the UK. I don't know what that is in the US, what the prices are around that. I'm going to assume dollars to pounds are roughly the same, euros to pounds are roughly the same at this precise moment. So I'm guessing it'll be roughly $22, €22, give or take, around the world. But for me, here's the thing, right? And this is kind of where I'm talking about marginals again, because for £5 extra a bottle, there is absolutely no question in my mind that I would upgrade to Appleton 8-year-old, and I need to replenish the bottles, I can see that. But that for me is just so much better as a rum and coke than what Appleton Signature is. For me, that's a nothing rum. I don't really enjoy that rum at all. At the price point, the £5 upgrade, that is just a no-brainer in my world. But to go one step further, is the Appleton 12-year-old £15? Is that £15 sort of upgrade, is that worth it? I generally don't think it is. I love that. It's the same as the amount I love that. And I generally don't think that it's actually worth spending that much. If rum and coke is your drink, I don't actually think it's worth upgrading to the Appleton 12, because that is banging. And to keep emphasising this point, let's look at El Dorado, another decent household brand, household name if you like. Now, here's where it gets kind of interesting in this brand for me, and remember, this is my opinion, not necessarily what I'm saying is right or wrong, it's just my opinion. The El Dorado 3-year-old, for me, makes a banging rum and coke. I'm happy with that all day long. The El Dorado 5-year-old, marginally around the same price. I'm talking like 50p difference in the UK. There's just no point for me. That is far superior rum and coke for me. The Eldorado 8-year-old, again, we're going up maybe £8-ish, give or take a bottle. That's kind of a benchmark. And again, this is a fantastic rum. I think it's a staple for cocktails. Being a rum and coke, I prefer that. So I'm always going to save myself some money. But here we go, because when you start getting up to these, the Eldorado 12-year-old makes an infinite. It's a different blend. It's kind of, don't just think of it as that aged for another sort of 4 years. It's a different blend of rums in there. Same as the 15, it's a different blend of rums to the 12. Okay, so don't just think they're longer aged, if you like. The same rum, just longer aged. They're not. They're different blends. Now, the 12-year-old absolutely knocks the spots off any of those of the rum and coke. So I would quite happily pay the extra £10-12 for that as the rum and coke compared to that. But I would actually go one step further, because I do really love the Eldorado 15, and that is a rum and coke. Is just so good, really good. Yes, it's £50 a bottle. Is it £15 a bottle more expensive than what is it worth that? Is the £15 extra to buy that worth it for the rum and coke? I think the quality really does. It's like Havana that I mentioned earlier. I really do think the quality and the taste of that is far superior than the 12, which again is far superior than the 3-year-old. So you have, over all these brands, it's just not one rule. You don't automatically think like the more expensive rum wins, because depending on your budget, it doesn't. But sometimes when you go up, it really does.